Hello and good day. I'm Michelle Nettleton. Welcome to my studio. My students are all in class and are ready to get going. So let's join them. All right. So welcome to the birdhouse. Oh, the birdhouse painting. Okay. Let's talk about this painting a little bit. I get my pointer out there. Okay. These flowers really nicely. They're really very loose, and so I think we'll have a good time with that. We're going to work on getting this texture for the wood. And then we have these shadows here, really dark shadows. Dark shadow here and there, here and there, and in here, and right here. And that's what it's going to make it stand out. And then just to add a little interest, we got a very, very subtle background here and a little bit of sky. Number 12 brush. First, we will put a light coat of yellow, so cadmium yellow, tea consistency, and we'll do that on all of the birdhouse, yes. Okay, so very light, and this is going to give it the feel of a nice summer day.
So you're not wetting it first, or just doing
I'm just, because it's tea consistency, I'm not too worried about it. And it's such a light color. Normally I would wet it, but and I'm done, so I'll give you another, let's see, 2 seconds. No, I'll give you another minute, because I don't want you fussing over this, like some people tend to do. Not you guys, of course. All right, ready to move on? Oh, good. All right, we're going to go over to the flowers. While our birdhouse is drying, we'll work on the flowers a little bit. So we'll start off, since we have yellow out, we'll do the greenier parts of it. So that will be a little bit of cadmium yellow in those parts. So a little bit up in this area, a little bit down here, a wee bit here, and up there. So don't fuss over it, just go quick.
this one?
Right. While it's wet, we're going to add a bit of sap green, and we're going to just let it do its own thing, okay? It's wet. We'll just add a little bit, and it will do its own blending. So we don't put the green all over the place. We just put it in certain spots. We sort of let the yellow and the green mix on its own. All right. Let's work on the texture. So this is how I like to do the texture. I'm going to get a flat brush. Where's that flat brush? There it is. So this is a flat brush. What number's on it? This is a 12 flat brush. And we'll take out some burnt sienna. Got some burnt sienna here. Now, to do this, you need to have a dry, has to be dry, dry surface, so this is wet on dry, okay? I'm going to switch this over like this. And then I'm going to lay this flat. Watch what I'm doing. So I've got paint all over my brush here, okay? And then I'm laying it flat, and I'm just touching lightly, very lightly, touching the surface. And now I'm starting to get that texture. Okay, so this texture is going up and down. This texture needs to have a different direction. So that's our first layer of texture.
What consistency is that, Michelle? That's more than tea.
That's pretty much a tea
Oh, is it?
consistency, yeah. So I really want you to practice this. We might end up just covering it all up, this texture, but I think it's really important for you to just practice it right now. And be careful, don't overdo it, you know. It just takes a few brush strokes. We're gonna go back to the flowers. We'll be jumping back and forth a lot. We're gonna go to the flowers. So let's go to purple. So we can either use the purple that's there, that I mentioned that you could have. If you have purple, use the purple. If you don't have purple, to make purple, you use red and blue. So you could use alizarin crimson and ultramarine blue. So this purple is pretty wild. So I think I'll put a little bit of yellow in it, just a tad of yellow, and that'll dull it down a little bit. Okay, so yellow's on the is opposite on the color wheel. It's a complementary color, and that will dull it down a little bit. I'm going to add some blue into that, ultramarine blue, and we'll see how that looks. I think it could go a little brighter. Okay, I should have wet this first, so wet the area and put your purple in, and let the purple start to move on its own, okay? Don't fill up that whole area with purple. Just, you have water there, it should be moving around by itself. And while this is still kind of wet, I could add some more purple into this section here. I want some really dark values. Eventually, that makes everything pop. So while it's still a little bit damp, I can do that, and we'll just blend in on its own and look totally. So I'm taking out some burnt sienna and just a tad of the umber. So I'm just darkening the burnt sienna a little bit. Okay. And I'm going to go up the side here to define the side is there. And then so now I'm making a few larger strokes. I don't want to lose these lines, so I'm just going to do this to remind myself that this is the shadow. I need some more shadow down in here. And the pedestal that the birdhouse is on is dark. That's completely in shadow. Take a smaller brush. Let's see what I have here. 4. I think I'll take a 0 and fill in this dark shadow in here. Go a little darker with that. I'm going to add some purple to it. So I've got burnt umber, or raw umber, whatever you have, and purple. I'm going to put this nice dark shadow in here. So making the shadow has purple in it, and so that's going to give us some color harmony. Okay, it's really important to limit your palette. Don't go jumping around all over the place, picking up all kinds of colors. If you limit your palette, then you'll have better color harmony. I guess I can go into this area too, and the entrance for the birdie. So we're going to work on the texture some more. So again with the flat brush, I'm going to go a little darker. So this time it's burnt sienna and more raw umber. Okay, so last time there was like burnt sienna and some raw umber. This one's going to be burnt sienna and a lot of raw umber. And again, I'm going to load my brush. Okay, and then drag it across and just catching the texture, the top of the paper. The paper has a texture on it, and so if you just drag it along, it will catch part of it. At least that's the hope. Burnt sienna, raw umber, and then a bit of purple. And I'm going to work on the shadow up here. Zero brush. I'll work on the entrance for the birdhouse. So I've got purple, burnt sienna, burnt umber, and that's really, really dark. So I'm working on the entrance, and I'm using that dark purple that I just mixed up, so that would be the purple, burnt sienna, and burnt raw umber or burnt umber. And I'm trying to force this color, this dark, right around the sort of right hand and top side of the hole here. Trying to force the color and make it really dark, so I used a little bit, tiny bit of black. I'm also making some little lines coming out because I want I want it to look rough like wood. And I'm going into straight purple to get this darker up here where the shadow is at the top, right close to the roof is the darkest, because remember, shadows are the darkest near the object, and then they become lighter as they move away from the object. Now we're going to go for darker tones in the birdhouse, and also defining some slats of wood. See these slats of wood here, so we're going to add a few of those. So we will use raw umber and the purple. We got the two mixed together. Right now mine is pretty tea consistency, so I'm not sure if this is going to work. I'm going to try it. I'm using the flat brush again. That works really nicely to make these slats. And yeah, it's working fine. Now, you don't have to take them all the way down, you know, like define every single last one of them. Not, it's just, you're just suggesting. So here and there, not too many of them. So I'm going to put one or two little lines in the roof too of the dark stuff. I think I'm going to leave the birdhouse like that. Not quite like the other one, but it's going to be just fine. Just fine. Okay, now we're going to work on the flowers. So now we'll work on some pink stuff, pink flowers. So to make pink flowers, and make sure you have clean water. I'm going to wet my red area. And I have some alizarin crimson here. And I'm just placing it down and letting the water do the work. I'm going to work on the green a bit. I'll wet the area a little bit. I want it too wet. Don't want it spreading around too much. And then I'm just going to drop in some of the green here and there. And then this purple needs to have something a little darker, so I'm just going to go straight into the purple and add a few bits of purple.
It doesn't really matter which blue, does it?
Well, I started off with a cobalt blue, and then now I'm going to add a bit of ultramarine blue because I want something darker. I didn't even wet the red. I just wanted to just have some good contrast. I want to have a few bits of green hanging down at the bottom here. So I just went into pure sap green. So now we have to do the background. So very light, like tea consistency, like super light tea consistency. We're going to drop in some colors. So a little bit of blue, a little bit of pink. So the blue I just put in was ultramarine blue. The pink is alizarin crimson. A little bit of cadmium yellow in here. And a touch of the green, sap green. And that's it. All right, and then we go over to I just put a little more red in here. Okay, now we're going to go over to the sky. So the sky is, we just wet a bit, and then we take the cobalt blue, put a little cobalt blue in there, and ta-da, that's it. And that finishes off our beautiful Birdhouse. And I hope you all enjoyed it as much as I did.